Well, hello everyone. Here right here, I'm talking about understanding about tests, about quizzes and tests and any other sorts of games and that other sorts of activities right here. And you see this right here. I'm talking about it. This right here was placed right here. If this was like any source of example of any source of activity game right here, and people might even want to know too is toward it really what is the point of doing any source of activity game. And people might say, well, for one, that it's to kind of test your knowledge about really that what you see and you're trying to understand what's going on here, especially if this is supposed to be like maybe any source of game board or something like that. You know, we got the puzzle pieces or any other sorts of activity that's going on here, but still, that if it goes by saying is this toward that playtime is me time right here, and so really that do you think the puppy is maybe going to be asking you for one is to go ahead and pay close attention to what I'm trying to show you and follow me right here. So this right here was supposed to be an example right here of any source of game of activity right here, and let's just say that if one of those activities is maybe going to say is toward it. The dog is trying to ask you a question and is trying to ask you to go ahead and respond in the source of proper way. What is the answer key here? And yeah, if they're trying to show you something or if they ask you to follow them and anything that they want you to respond with, and so if it's supposed to be these sorts of games of some sort, but you see this right here of talking about this right here, this example right here of this activity game right here, along with understanding, I'm like, yeah, talking about, for guess what right here, and so it's like, yeah, good luck right here, and so really that what do you maybe even think a lot of people might even want to know too is that hey, what does it usually mean if somebody says good luck right here? Are they trying to are they testing your mind just to kind of tell you that yeah, this is what you got to do here if you really want to go ahead and work harder, and this is what you got to do, but then there's going to be challenges, and so it sure seems that way that yeah. So it's not going to be easy, and maybe the first thing that somebody's going to maybe say is toward it that yeah, if you want to play a game, it's not going to be easy, right? It's going to be pretty complicated, and like everybody might say that yeah, if you watch somebody else play the game, and maybe let's just say that that yeah, people might say that if you first play the game, by the way, or first take the test, that the first thing that comes to your mind is it's a lot more complicated than what it looks. So it's like, yeah, so let's just say that if anybody were to ask you is toward, yeah, if you want to play the game, all you have to do is just answer a couple of questions. And let's just say that if the dog were to say is toward, okay, yeah. So if you were to go ahead and read one of these questions right here, and maybe let's just say that if the dog's going to maybe ask you to please explain your response right here, like there's like maybe going to be a little note. I'm like, yeah, please explain your answer right here or something like that. Please explain why not. So yeah, so it's like how many of us maybe even want to know too that if you're going to be playing any sorts of game, that is that really your responsibility to explain? That yeah, if you mark your answer on any source portion of the answer key, and let's just say that first of all, it goes by saying this to where that you were asked to follow, like, yeah, follow the instructions. I have something for you, and my dog was and is looking, at me to, he wanted to show me something, to surprise me, and so you had this right here, but then talking about please explain why, and so this right here was supposed to be like any sort of test of the matter. Then you would maybe think that oh, okay, yeah, so these game pieces are pretty much saying is toward it let's play a game, okay? I'm going to go ahead and ask you a question, and I would like to have a clear response about why do you think that is, or something like that. So it's basically saying is toward it. It's like a challenge, and really, that everybody might say that for one, that if you are asked to where that you were to select what game piece that you want to use or something like that, it's a game piece right here. You're asked to go ahead and pick a character, a game piece right here. And second is to go ahead and pick a question. Pick a question like cards. You know, you are asked to keep this question hidden from everybody else. Like if you were playing with maybe three other people, or maybe five other people, or maybe 10 other people, and let's just say that one side of the card would say something like this, to where it would say that yeah, I have something that I want to surprise you with something, and so it's like so it sure seems that way that that in case if anybody's wonders toward it, and then let's just say that if there's a message that maybe shows up right here at the very bottom right here, something like yeah, that you know, something, yeah, a special, like, yeah, pick a number or something like that. But let's just say that, if it's, yeah, a clue or something like that, or here's the clue right here or something like that. Everybody might even want to know too that, yeah, well, for sure that if you're going to be playing any sort of game, chances are that somebody's going to give you a clue, but it's going to be hidden. People might say, "Here's the clue right here." If somebody were to ask you the question right here, and let's just say the question goes by is that my dog was and is looking at me. It's like looking at me like, remember, yeah, you remember this, and a lot of times. So yeah, so those special moments right there, and people might even say that, hey, that if anybody's going to ask you that if you remember this at all, and you begin to warn toward it, that yeah, a special clue right here, yeah, you remember this here, and so it sure seems that way that that if you're going to be taking any sorts of test, and people may want to know too if there's going to be any source of a clue of the matter. With that clue of the matter is maybe going to be in like small writing like that. Somebody's going to maybe say that, yeah, small enough to maybe you can't really read it, but people might say that, yeah. So if somebody were to kind of give you an idea of what this game, this activity is talking about, and then chances are, they're going to say that the clue's right here, but it's hard to read, and people might say that, yeah, that's whenever you want to go ahead and look real closely at it right here. So everybody say, yeah, if you're going to be playing any game right here and want to know that, yeah. So why do you think anybody, say that, if you're going to be taking a test, and let's just say if you only have about maybe 5 seconds to respond to each question right here, you may not even see this right here. Like, yeah, if you're going to be playing the game, and let's just say the clue would be right here, but only in small writing right here. They say to go ahead and click here to review or something like that. And so why do you think anybody would say that if they were to give you an idea or a clue of what this game is talking about, what this question is talking about, why do you think that they would put it right here in small writing right here? And you begin to think about that to where, oh, okay, yeah, there's a clue right there, but it's right here. And I don't think anybody really wants to spend too much time paying attention to that, and be quite honest with you that I really think in a lot of ways too that that maybe not everybody really wants to pay too much close attention to that. And maybe everybody might say that, yeah, for those who designed the game, by the way, might say that that's why we made these pieces a little bit smaller right here to where it you made the pieces a little bit smaller, and yeah, make that a little bit smaller right there, and you're thinking that yeah. So if you're going to be playing any sorts of activity game, there'll be like a clue at about right down here. Click on this right here, and then hover your mouse right there, and yeah, there'll be like something right there that you can click on. It'll give you an idea, and a hint about a clue about what this question is talking about right here. And so, in case if anybody's wondering that, if there's a reason why that these are a little bit smaller, is because so that way you would recognize that if the pieces are a little bit smaller, maybe that's another reason why that people are saying this is toward it. Yeah, we want you to notice that. We don't want everybody to see that this option is here, because if you were to actually select it, it's supposed to give you an idea of what this game is talking about. And like you said, if we don't want this information passed on to everybody else, or whichever it is, but still. So every time you do think about that, and you're warned toward, oh, okay, yeah. So if you're going to be doing any sorts of tests, any sorts of activity, that you begin to wonder that oh, okay, so if you want to make anything, if you want to go ahead and hide anything, or maybe if you want to maybe place it on the game board where it's kind of hard to notice, it's hard to notice, and while you're playing, and it's like 3 seconds to go ahead and answer each question or so, and kind of put that up to the challenge right there. And so it's like, yeah, you got the directions, and somebody's going to maybe say is to where if this right here was supposed to be any source of activity game, and you're warned toward it, why, the first thing that you think about is that if you're going to be placing these options here, these selections, anywhere on this game piece right here, you want to make it small to where that nobody else really notices it. And people might say that, yeah, according to the directions, please locate any icons that could be placed on the corner here to where it's going to kind of give you some additional information about what you need to do. And if you don't have an idea of what this question is talking about here, that there's a clue right here on the very bottom or something like that. And so every time you think about that, you're warned that I don't really even think that anybody's really going to pay too close attention to that, and especially if you're going to be playing the game on a small device. And let's just say that if you're going to be playing like on a smartphone or something like that, you may not know exactly that, okay, this is what it looks like right here. And you can't really read all this right here. So in case if anybody's wondering, if you're going to be playing this game on a smartwatch, more likely this is what it's going to look like right here. And you may think as to where, oh, okay, I can't really read this very well. So everybody's maybe going to say is that, yeah, I can't really read that very well. And if you're going to maybe looking at it from that angle right there and say that I can't really read that very well, why is it, I can't take the test because I can't really read it very well. And so everybody say this toward every time you think about any sorts of exam, by the way, you're warned toward it. If there's a reason why that maybe you cannot tell this, and maybe if you can't tell that, because that if you're going to be taking a test that they say is this toward it just to kind of test your knowledge a little bit more. But on the other hand, that whenever it comes to understanding about the terms of use right here, but still that everybody might say is toward that the goal here is not to do everything, but it's mainly to get an understanding about the reasons why of how you interact, with your players, about how you interact with this activity here, and that for the most part, that the character is going to say is please read the instructions and please follow me right here, and so this right here was supposed to be any source of activity game, and you're warned toward it. There's a reason why that we make these pieces, make these controls a little bit smaller, because so that way you would know, what to look for. Like if you see anything right here where you can click on it, it gives you an idea of what this question is, what it talks about. And so, anyway, but that's what I say. Talk about understanding about quizzes, just to get an understanding of what they're for.